Favourite song? Hit us with something quickly. Like, give us like 5 seconds.
Oh, no,
Don't make it. You're like,
cut the cameras.
Fair.
no. Hi guys, welcome back to the DAMIHOW podcast. I'm Dami.
I'm Teo.
I'm Sadia, Kabeya.
And you're listening to DAMIHOW podcast. I just said that twice. But anyways, hi Sadia. Thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Good, yeah. Tired in the best way, but good, yeah.
It's been a busy week.
Yeah, very, very busy week.
Where you coming from?
Well, just landed from New Zealand a couple of days ago, so still getting over the jet lag. I don't know if it's jet lag, hangover, tired. I don't know what one it is, but no, yeah. So
how many hours in New Zealand? Is it like 12? Like, is it 24 hours or something?
I don't even know, you know.
So we were 13 hours ahead when we were there.
Oh, I've got my. Sorry, we're gonna have to.
But what's that like in terms of communicating with people and stuff? Because everyone's literally on the other end of everything. Like, there is no communicating with people.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be harder because we were 13 hours ahead, but it actually gave everyone chances to speak to their friends and stuff twice a day, because you speak at like 10 in the morning and then 10 in the evening, whereas normally sometimes your schedules don't match up, so you can't speak at all.
That actually kind of makes sense. I thought it would be the opposite, and it was like everyone's gone and then they're awake and then they're so and so.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad, actually.
How long were you there?
Just over 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then now you got to tell us why you were there.
Yeah, so I was in New Zealand for the Women's Rugby World Cup. I played in 2022 because it was delayed in 2021 due to COVID.
So, for everyone that doesn't know, you're basically a rugby player.
Yes.
Yeah? Cool. Tell us a little bit about that. How did that come around?
So I started playing rugby when I was about 13 years old. I think I always did like sports and I was doing athletics, I was doing gymnastics, anything that I could run around and do anything I was doing. And one day I literally got randomly taken out of a lesson in school. Yeah. I was like, this is the rugby ball, run forward, pass backwards, hit something, and literally that was it. And I was very competitive when I was younger, so I was like ready to go, like ready to hit anything. And my school was like very much an anomaly in South London because we had a rugby academy, which you don't see at all. So that kind of helped me on my way, but that's how I got into it.
Yeah. What school did you go to?
Harris Crystal Palace.
Okay, Chris, I feel like they do quite a lot of like sports kind of stuff, and that's sick. That is so sick. It's so funny that you say rugby, because when I think of rugby, well, before all I knew was like tag rugby. I know that's quite different. Is that an actual tag rugby? Is that an actual sports as well? Is that done professionally, or is it just kind of?
I don't know if it's done professionally, but there's definitely like leagues of it. Like people would play on like a Sunday and go and play tag rugby.
Yeah.
Do you know what I heard?
What?
I heard you can sing.
Oh no! I don't know, mate.
So basically, what happened was I heard that basically in school you're good at everything, both physically and academically as well.
Ooh.
And then this same person, they've taught you like once or something apparently. Okay. Like you probably just passed through their class or something, but they said you can sing. Is that true?
I was back in the olden days.
But you can, so it's not cap.
I mean, everyone can sing.
No,
it's just how well. Everyone can sing. It's just how well. You know?
Apparently, you got some notes. Favourite song? Hit us with something quickly. Like, give us like 5 seconds.
Oh no!
Don't make it. You're like,
cut the cameras.
Fair. What other sports did you like do when you was in school?
I did trampolining a lot because I was gymnast and obviously didn't have gymnastics at school. So the closest thing I could do was trampolining. Athletics, that was my main sport. I was doing shot put and hammer for a good 2-3 years and was like going through like county level. Thought I was gonna, thought I was gonna make it. Wasn't enjoying it. Ended up dropping out, but that was before rugby. That's what I thought I was gonna do.
Because you're still in uni now, like talking about making it, you're still in uni now, but you're also an athlete on a women's England rugby team who travelled to New Zealand to play in the World Cup, and now you're back here and you're going back to university, and then you're back in South London and then back to university and then back on the plane to somewhere else. What's all of that like? And would you say you have then made it or not?
I just want to know even how you balance it as well. Because I'm just thinking, you're playing professionally, you're going to uni. I'm just thinking, even just doing the one going to uni is a lot. So it's like, how are you even like balancing not even just the two but everything?
Yeah. There's not really much balance right now. I mean, I split my year at uni, so I don't have too much work at the moment. But while I was out in New Zealand, my work iPad was probably touched about 3 times. So there's not really much balance. But being at Loughborough, that being a sport uni, they're very accommodating in like in terms of moving, like assessments and stuff like that.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really take it in much. I don't really take a step back and be like, this is actually what I'm doing. It's literally like, I'm on the train here, I'm going to this day, I'm going down to London this day, and that's just my life right now. When I do take a step back, I'm like, wow, it's a bit crazy.
So what did you study at uni?
Sports science.
Oh, okay, cool. So then what happens after that? Is that something you have to do because of your sport, or is it just something that you want to do? Because I don't know if you actually have to go through that uni stage and then obviously continue with the sport, or is it...
Yeah, well, it's not, especially with rugby, because of the nature of the sport. Your career could be done at any point in time.
Do you mean like because of injury and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So it's I think it's important for everyone to have that backup option.
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to uni, I'm doing sports science. I'm like, I'm probably going to use it to like do coaching or be a teacher or anything. It's just because I want to have that backup. Yeah.
And what's the I don't know what word I say, lifespan? I don't know. How long do people play rugby
like
for?
career length.
Yeah.
If successful.
Yeah.
Successful.
Well, usually for the women's game, about 10 years, like once you get into the international stage, people normally stay on between 7 to 10 years, injury permitting.
Are you like international stage? Because you play for... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so our England captain right now, she is 36, and I'm 20, so that's put another 16 years. But I don't think there's another 16 years in me. But some people, depending on how you keep your body and how you're playing, can stay on for ages. Yeah,
and I was gonna say, how long do you kind of see yourself playing? I don't know if that's the question you answered, but like, how long do you see yourself playing rugby for? Do you think you want to go to another sport, or just then step back and be like, let's just do the coaching? But how long do you for yourself? So we're saying roughly around 10 years what you can do, but what do you think you can do for yourself? Yeah,
I think definitely, because I find it really hard to look past like 3 years ahead.
Yeah,
I can't. People are like, what are you gonna be doing?
What you do? What's your what do they ask? What do you see yourself? I'm not gonna lie. People ask me that. I'm like,
I ain't got the answers.
I don't know. I don't know.
But as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to keep playing. And now that I'm in a position where I can also affect other people's lives and affect other people's journeys just through playing rugby, not even by being good at it, just by being at the position I am, it's something that I want to stick in for as long as I can. So as long as I'm enjoying it, as long as there's, more milestones to get, I'm going to keep doing it.
What's the diversity like within the group?
So right now within the England squad, we have 4 non-white players. All of us are mixed race actually. 4 mixed race girls. So from that point of view, out of a squad of, during pre-season, our squad went up to about 45, 50 sometime, 45 players, and only 4 is non-white. The diversity, it reflects what the game is like in general, because across the whole league, it's a white man's sport, it's a white middle class sport.
But do you feel like that's an external thing or interest in people? Because you wanted to do rugby, and obviously you're a young black girl, mixed race girl, however you choose to describe yourself. But like other women, I mean, Dami, you didn't choose to do rugby. You chose to do. I would
have never thought.
And it's like even around football, for instance. Like again, I feel like it's quite similar as well. There's not a lot of black women that play football ever. There are a few, but obviously not so many. So do you feel like that's more on our side than it is on that side, or like what do you think?
I do think it is like as cliche as it is, that you can't see, you can't be a thing. I think like my story getting to where I am now is like the prime example of why we should, you should invest and you should have role models for young black girls, young people of colour coming through, because I had one woman in England right now, Shauna Brown, who's a black woman, and she's very proud about it, and she's always unapologetic about being herself.
Yeah.
And I saw her at the top level, and I was like, one person is enough, and I know I can get there now.
Fair enough.
But I think it definitely. I think it's half and half, because I know that if I wasn't randomly sat in Crystal Palace and didn't come across rugby then, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah.
And if I didn't see Shauna there, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah.
So I think it is a bit of both. Yeah.
So is it kind of like schools kind of investing a bit more into like the sports side of things, and obviously, I guess maybe schools in I guess in more predominantly black areas, like them investing a bit more, that would give people a bit more of an opportunity to see what's like available. Yeah, that's it. And then what was it like even just being selected to play for England? So like, how did that even happen?
So we've got a pathway in rugby. So like same as every other sport, we go through county level, and then represent our like regional division, so represent South East England, and then you join a Premiership club, and then from there you get spotted, basically. And some people's journeys are very different, but mine was very much the general. I got into rugby, was playing because I enjoyed it. Literally was just like, got called down to a county trial. I was like, yeah, I'll go. Got called down to an England under 18 trial. Okay, I'll go. And like, as smooth as it seemed, there was a lot of bumps along the way. That's how my journey happened. So when I actually did get to the point of getting my debut, I was like, how the hell? How the hell have I got here? I literally was just picked up through playing for Prem. I got a phone call saying, hey, we want to invite you down to an England camp. And from then it was literally just like go.
But at that point, what changes then? Because obviously, like for Premiership football or whatever, the Monzo starts pinging off, the balance goes through the roof. Like, what changes happen to you at that point?
I mean, in terms of like money wise and stuff like that, women's rugby is very different because we don't have that type of investment. But even being in uni, like, we do get paid. There is 28 professional contracts, and I am non-contracted, but I am paid to be there and paid to play. Anything for me is like, I'll take it. You know? So from that aspect, I was like, okay, like, this is something to keep me in there, because there is hard times. Like, I went into this camp environment where I've never been. And it's like, everything's so high pressure. You're looking around, there's people who you don't recognise, people you can't vibe with, but you're there to play a sport, and you have to realise that that's what you're there for. From that point of view, that's definitely there to keep me, like, keeps me going. But I think for me, it was like, to that point, I was just kind of like liaising through. I was like, I like this, I'll do this. But then when you're in it, because I was like, I don't think I really care about getting my first cap. Like, I want to be in the environment, I want to learn. But as soon as you get that first cap, you're like, okay, I kind of want to get the next cap. I kind of want to start this game. And it's just that switch in mindset, I think, was the main thing for me.
Fair enough. By cap, she's talking about playing for England. In case
I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at. I'm waiting for you to say more, and be like, okay, what does that mean?
I literally know nothing.
Keep going. I'm trying to like figure it out. Is this all the money wise we're talking about? What are we talking about now?
I need to have it. But it's funny though, because it's like, so you're on a billboard. You're out here like, and you know everything's perception these days, isn't it? Like, someone sees someone for 4.4 seconds on TV. They think, this person's it. Like, I was watching a video of you doing a couple of interviews. I was watching a video of you playing on YouTube as well. And like, but what's that like then when you then meet? Do people recognise you first of all?
When I'm like in Loughborough and I'm playing games and I go to games, there has been times people come up to me, so can I have a picture? And I'm like, sure. And even like just getting like DMs and stuff from like young girls and saying, oh, like, you inspire me, or I watched you on the weekend, and like this and that. It's crazy. And like, to be sat here, like, I'm 20, I'm at uni, I have no idea what I'm doing in my life outside of rugby, and people are saying that I'm inspiring them. It's a lot of pressure, but I also feel a huge amount of pride with that. And like you said, with the billboard, it's just, it's crazy. Like, I think all it is really pride. I don't think because there is pressure to it, but I don't think it gets to me. It gets me in that aspect, because at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I'm doing it to kind of leave a legacy and put the sport in a better place from where it was before. So yeah.
Has anything negative followed off of your entire experience, basically? I think mainly when I say this, first of all, I'm thinking racially, of course, and then after that, just like any comments, even from male side of things and things like
just
that.
being a
like
woman
just
playing sports.
being a woman in sports. Like talk us through a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, even just growing up, doing rugby, doing athletics, in South London. I mean, we know what the culture is like between when you're, especially because my school is predominantly black, and the black culture of like being used to be the pretty girls, you want to impress the cool boys, you want to be feminine, you want to be, and 12-year-old me, 13-year-old me, who already had bigger arms or bigger legs, I was feeling so insecure about that, but couldn't change it because it's my body, it's the way I am, it's a sport I wanted to play. That affected me like huge amounts growing up and coming through the sport. Because you're conflicted because you're like, I want to do something that I love, but I also want to fit in. And I want to feel accepted by the people that I'm around. So yeah, for years, especially through secondary school, I was going back and forth. I was like, I would like go to the gym, like hit a hard gym session, and then I'd be like, actually, I'm just going to have a salad because I kind of want to stay small because I want to look good. And I'm like, but I want to get massively, but you can't get massively hit a gym on a salad. No, it doesn't go together. So from that side, it was definitely a big thing I had to overcome. And even in it's only been in the past year really when you've been put in the limelight, so you have to, like, you're either gonna.
At some point, it's like, you're up there, innit? So whether you're strong, small, whatever it is, it's like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. No one can really talk for you at that point. No one can talk for you ever, really. But like, realistic, you get what I mean? At that point, it's just said and done. It's like, I'm here, you're not. That's how I look at it. Like, sometimes you just have to be mean about it. It's like, people are being mean to you, you give them the same energy back. Like, really and truly.
But from the racial side, I haven't actually... in terms of like people I don't know, like giving me hate or abuse, I haven't actually got that. It's always come from inside the circle.
As in
teams. It's always, it's always unspoken or it's unconscious or it's not on purpose. And my journey into like Premiership rugby, the first team that I joined was in Richmond, which is a predominantly white area, so the team is predominantly white and it's a very middle class area as well. So for me that was two things that I'm not used to. I came from a place where I'd hang out in Croydon every other day and I'd play rugby with all my black mates, and all of a sudden I'm stuck with people who I don't know, live in huge houses, do this, do that, speak differently, don't listen to the same music as me, don't look like me. And in my head I was like how do I fit in? Like how am I gonna stay in this sport, which I want to be here because I enjoy it, but how am I gonna stay here and feel so isolated because I have no similarities with anybody?
Was that scary?
It was, it was scary, but I think it's I only realised it when I look back, because I think in the moment when you're young, well, I'm young now, but then you're just like, I'm doing this just because I need to. Like, it's not. I didn't think about it. I would start changing the music I listen to. I would start changing the way I would speak. I was very much a South London gal when I first started rugby. And as you meet people, your accent changes, the way you speak changes. But as soon as I stepped into that, I was like, oh, hello. How are you? Oh, yeah, lovely. Oh, can I listen to Mr. Brightside? Who? What? I want to listen to Burna Boy. I want to get Burna Boy on the speaker. But it was those little things, and it made you change. And I look back and I see pictures of me back then. I'm like, that's not even me. And it's like, it's a rugby problem. It's an internal problem. And me and other girls try to speak about it more to make people aware of it. But at the end of the day, rugby is a predominantly white sport, and unless you hear it coming from inside, people have no idea about it.
Yeah. And how are you dealing with it now that you're kind of, I guess, maybe a little bit more comfortable in yourself and like proud in what you do? How do you kind of deal with that? Do you still, obviously we're all still going to kind of feel, when we go into certain spaces, we all still kind of feel like we got to adjust a little bit to fit in, because you don't want to, I don't know. But how do you kind of deal with it now?
Yeah, I think, going through, especially the past 2 years actually, when we had the Black Lives Matter movement and all the height of that, I was changing clubs and I was moving from Richmond to a club called WAS, which is in London. And I moved there and they had decided they wanted to do a call with the 5 black players that they had on the team, just to sit down and speak about their experiences, and everyone else was just there to listen. Yeah. And I came into this setup and I was like, this is something I've never experienced before. I've never felt like I was heard at my previous clubs. I felt like I had to fit in to be heard, and that was my turning point where I was like, I can be in the sport, I can do whatever I want and still be me and still be, my authentic self.
Yeah.
So you took that as a positive thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. 100%. And even now, I do loads of interviews and media where I speak about what I went through and just, what I went through and what it is like to be a black woman playing sport in general, but also black women playing sport in a white dominated sport.
Yeah.
To make people aware that whatever level you are at,
there's always there. Still something.
It's there. Because when I was playing grassroots, when I first started playing, it was there. And now I'm at the top level, it's still there. But just because now I'm confident, I have people around me who I can relate to, people who are culturally similar to me, and I can find similarities and I can be comfortable, it is still very much an issue.
So would you check someone immediately in those type of situations now, either on team, management, punters, whatever you want to call them, just anything related to the sport, within the sport? I'm not talking generally life right now, I mean within the sport, because you know how things are, when people speak out against certain things sometimes, or become too much of an issue, too loud, too combative, you get other issues. So now, in your current situation where you're more confident, more in control, do you feel like you speak out against everything or anything?
I wouldn't say everything. No, I still feel like I'm still in that box. I'm stuck in between. I don't want to be an educator. I don't want to have to tell people everything all the time. I also don't want to create arguments and create awkwardness in the team. When it shouldn't even be a fault. If you're offended by something, you say it. But when it comes to racial issues, it's never like that.
Yeah, it's more.
What is the other person gonna think? How are they gonna feel about me saying that I didn't like that? Why does that even cross your mind? But because there's still multiple times, and there has been times recently where people will say something that's a little bit off target, and you think,
it's always I feel like that's always the hard one to kind of say something, and then you get back home and you're like, wait a minute, that was a bit, because I feel like it's always, that's the thing that's kind of hard with trying to address those type of issues, because it's never very in your face kind of thing. But the undertone is there, but then it's hard to, then when you kind of try and say something about it, there's confusion because it wasn't so direct, but it's there. So sometimes you just feel like, we're just gonna leave it, but then you get home and you're like, oh, I should have said something. That was a bit crazy. Why did I even let that slide? That's smash.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. For example, we went out for dinner with some of my rugby friends, and we went to Turtle Bay. And the amount of questions I got about what spice level that I do you have jerk chicken quite frequently through the week? Are you here quite often? I'm like, what? No, I'm not.
Why would you need to be?
I like medium spice. What? Really? Is that really? And it's those tiny unspoken things.
Yeah, I think people just make things weirder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I think people really act as if, we are different. Everyone in this world, colours, race and everything, everyone has different cultures and things, but on the underlying level, it's we're all quite similar as well. But people really make things feel like they're that far apart.
That's what it is.
It's the one time we go somewhere that's Turtle Bay, all of a sudden I'm the connoisseur of Turtle Bay. Me and him made it together.
What should I get on the menu? Because you must know.
You know what I mean? And it's then they do the most obvious things. It's I was talking to my friend about this the other day. I don't go around saying, oh, Kings of Leon, man. Yeah. out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you're having a conversation with someone else and Burna Boy is great, isn't it? Burna Boy is so whiz. Kid Wiz.
And they tried to make it sound
amazing.
so like, what's the word? Oh, it's funny. I saw a TikTok. And it was kind of like a skit of like what I guess non-ethnic people do when they go into ethnic space, and it was like, oh my god, this is so inspiring. And they put on this, and it's just like, it's not that deep.
Like this is really everyday stuff.
Like and they put on this one, and it's like, it's not that deep.
Yeah, like they just do too much.
Yeah.
But I don't understand where it comes from.
Yeah, I don't
because
know.
in reverse, obviously,
I think at the
I don't
same
feel like I
time-
behave like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think at the same time it's trying to be, I guess, empathetic.
But yeah, that's the other
where it
thing.
doesn't
So
need
it's problematic because, and that's why what you were saying earlier about like hearing something and not sure what direction it's coming across as, because it's an attempt to be like empathetic or
Yeah,
relatable,
exactly.
but it's a poor attempt.
Yeah.
And they can't see that.
Yeah.
And then you question it and they become defensive immediately.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to be called a racist.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You can call me anything
Yeah.
else.
But a racist, it's
But
like
you
if that's
can't
more
call me a
offensive
racist.
than actually being racist.
Do you know what I
It's just
mean?
like-
Yeah.
It's like no one on this planet wants to be called that. Anything else, I'll take,
Yeah.
but not that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that's what you are, but still.
No, it's so funny when I see like arguments and stuff, and when someone gets called racist, and they go so and I'm just like, okay,
I completely missed the whole point.
yeah,
I'm not racist.
I'm not racist. Instead of actually the point
Yeah.
of, you know, you might have said something that was racist, and
Yeah.
they're only focusing on the point that you called them a racist.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a crazy world.
How was the game? I know that's a sore question right now. I can't-
Too soon. No. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, playing in New Zealand,
Yeah.
in Eden Park, in New Zealand's backyard,
Yeah.
having a sold out stadium,
It's lit.
final of the World Cup. I mean, you literally like ticking, everything like you can ask for.
Yeah.
So already it was like a huge occasion.
How many teams were involved? Roughly.
Three pools.
Was that where you
Three
played
pools for
Fiji as
12
well?
teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we played Fiji in the opening games at Eden Park as well. And for me, from starting the first game, first World Cup opener against Fiji, Eden Park, sold out, and then finishing World Cup final, which I never thought I'd be playing in a World Cup final. Never in a million years. So to be in that, it was like a full, like, I'd done the full circle, and I was like, okay, this is the time, you know, to finish, to complete the journey. But in terms of the game itself, it was insane. It was so tight the whole time, and I think the whole time we never believed we were going to lose. Like we never thought, took a step back.
Yeah.
Even when we went under 14 men, after 15 minutes into the game, getting a red card, we still thought we've still got this. So we have everything we need to win. And I think, in all respect to New Zealand, but I think we had everything we needed but luck, and New Zealand had had that luck.
In their home ground.
And even like when the final whistle went, I think everyone still was in shock because we never prepared to lose.
Yeah.
We didn't know what that was going to feel like. We won 30 games on the bounce. We haven't lost in how many years. And even now, I still feel like people are like, "Are you okay? Like, how was it?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, like, we lost the game. That's what it feels like. We lost the game. It doesn't feel like, for me, we lost the World Cup final because I don't think it has sunk in. But in terms of the game, playing the game, it was brutal. It was physical, and those are the type of games that I love.
Yeah.
It just the result didn't go our way in the end.
Is that the first time you played like in front of that many people?
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Oh, the crowd was crazy. Like, you walk out and we saw like tiny white flags dotted around this huge stadium. And then the rest of it was just a wall of black. And I think the first time you realise how many people were there was when we were singing the national anthem, and the whole stadium literally just erupted singing New Zealand's national anthem. And then when it finishes, like the claps and the cheers, it's literally deafening.
Yeah.
And that you stand there and you're like, okay, we're playing 15 people on the pitch, but realistically we're playing the whole stadium right now. But I mean, you can't really ask for more than that. It's a great atmosphere, but yeah, it was crazy.
Is it distracting? Because I'm just imagining there's so many people, and obviously people are shouting. How do you kind of just like block it out and just focus on what you're doing?
Yeah.
Because I could just So I'm just imagining that just so many people and like you're having to play. I guess once you're into it, you're not really focused on what's going on around. But like, how did you? Was there a point in the beginning where you still had to kind of get used to it, and like now you know how to kind of just be in the zone?
Yeah, I think generally most rugby players anyway, and just sport players, once you play, you do kind of block anything out. And sometimes I block my teammates out by accident. They're calling out, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But I think definitely in the first like 10 minutes that I came on, it was like as soon as there was we made a mistake, the crowd would go crazy and start screaming, and it's so easy to think, fuck, oh, can I swear? It's easy to think, oh my god, like I made this huge mistake, because the crowd is making it seem so much bigger than it actually is. And it's like, how do you bring yourself back to, right, I'm just playing another game of rugby, we're here to do that job. But yeah, I think actually when I'm playing, you don't really hear it that much. But it's when you have that moment to breathe and you hear them and you're like, oh my god. Yeah.
That's like, you were just talking about, so in terms of like training, what does that look like? Because you were saying before about going to the gym. What does your gym training look like, or your kind of preparation for your games? How do you train? Because obviously we go to the gym, but I'm pretty sure it's not the same kind of, you don't train the same way. So what does that look like?
So our usual training week would be, we train on pitch 3 times a week, and then we gym 3 times a week as well. Our training sessions it will just range from like having one day which is focused on speed, getting faster, playing faster. One day which is like a heavy physical day, so like loads of tackling, loads of hitting each other, loads of carrying, and then one day focused on like our skills and our plays, and then that would be like quite chill. And then in the gym, our programs are made around what strengths we need. So for me, in my position, I need to be quite powerful and explosive.
Because you're a flanker, innit?
Because I'm a flanker, yeah. So I won't just be able to be like, can I squat today, or can I do this today? I have to split squat, I have to deadlift because it's going to help me do this, it's going to help me do that. I have to power clean a lot because that's where I'm going to get my explosiveness from. So yeah, a lot of the stuff, like there's some days, like one day of the week, it's called an accessory session. It's just strengthening, like we literally like sit on the floor with like bands and have people hold our arms and just do isometrics and stuff like that. Yeah. Because it's all focused around how can we better our game, not so much how much can I lift, because it's all good and well that you can lift, but yeah, it's also about how can we apply that into the
training
game.
has to be applicable to the sport, basically. Movements that are specific for your engagement. Fair enough.
Yes.
And after the game, do you just feel sore? Because all of that tackling and all of that stuff, I think that's one thing. As much as I enjoy sport, I don't like to be hurt. You know what I mean? I don't like pain that much. So it's like after, are you like bruised, or you just like...
Yeah, I mean, the day after like a physical game you are written off.
You're written off. You're completely done. Like, when I'm done sparring sometimes, headache. Yeah. Headache.
See, I can't do
but these are crushing heads as well sometimes.
I mean, I'm a head crusher. Every game. Next day I'm just written off in bed. Very, very sore. Could be sore until the day before the next game. Sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How long?
Funnily enough, it's probably the same for everyone. Yeah. Like, even if you're a footballer, not even if you're a contact sport, it's just movement. It's like you're performing at the best level for 90 minutes. Yeah. So it's like, or 30 minutes, or whatever the sport is, isn't it? So when you're done, you're done. You give everything you can in that one day, and back to the training board for 6 weeks, and then you go again. Like, that's actually nuts. Yeah. What's been like the most challenging experience for you in your journey thus far, these 7 years of your short little life?
I think definitely would have been the build up to the World Cup, just getting into the squad. Because for me, I think a year ago to that day, I made my debut. And a year ago before that, I would never have ever thought I'd be sitting in that position. As I said, I've always been quite a go with the flow person. And going through the World Cup prep, we were in pre-season for 4 weeks. So it was just like loads of running, basically killing yourself every week in 30-degree heat. And you're like, okay, I'm getting fit because I'm trying to get into this World Cup squad. And then we like moved into a different phase where we were like, okay, now we're going into game prep. We're not focused on getting fit. It's like now it's your time to show you're meant to be here. And for me, I compete with 2 other girls in my position, and they've been in the game for about, I don't know, 10, 15 years. They're established players, and they're also very, very good players. And I was like stuck because I was like, I want to be able to sit here and back myself and, you know, be the best I can in every training session. But I also didn't want to be that person who was like, pick me, because I'm very chill, I'm very relaxed, and to that point, I'd always been very chill and very relaxed. But yeah, that whole like last 3 weeks leading up to when selection came out, I think it was held for a lot of people because they were starting to put out like teams, and they were like, don't read into it, but can we have this team, and this team, which was like a third, second, and third team, and you sit there and you're like, and I realised like, I think after the first week of training when the teams came out, I was in that third team, and I sat there and I was like, I'd taken it in that I was there prepping for a World Cup, and in 3 weeks I could be sat at home while everyone's on the plane, and that was like I really want to do this, and that I want to be there, and not only do I want to be there, I know I'm here for a reason. It's not like I've just been brought here because I needed to make up numbers. I was there for a reason. So yeah, a lot of tears were shed. A lot of tears were shed that those 3 weeks. And yeah, when the team sheet came out, we had the choice that if you didn't get selected, you could get called or text 10 minutes before it came out on the group chat, because that's how it came out. I just got a picture on the group chat. Congratulations, this is the squad. And I said, if I'm not going, please give me a text. But on the day, I was like, I'm going to keep my phone in airplane mode anyway, because I don't want, even if I'm not going, I don't want a text to come through telling me 10 minutes earlier. So yeah, I took my phone in airplane mode at 7 p.m, saw the message, saw my name, and just absolutely broke down. And that was like, yeah, so many emotions, like so much joy, so much stress, like everything from that whole 2 months building up to that, and like making me realise what I want to do and why I need to be here. It all came out in that moment. I think, yeah, that's definitely, sorry, long-winded, but
it's all good,
the toughest.
But that's lit.
Thank you.
And how did your parents, like your family, take this into? They must be so proud as well.
Yeah, so proud. Like my mum, she's not a rugby person at all. Like we didn't grow up watching rugby. No one really knows rugby in my family. Yeah. But now that I'm playing it, like my family are the biggest rugby fans in the world. Like got all the merch, everything, and yeah, they were absolutely over the moon for me. And my mum was like, I called her at 7 p.m. and she thought that I was calling her because it was bad news. Yeah. She was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I got in." And she was just like, yeah, absolute relief, absolute joy. So. Yeah, they're proud to see me doing anything that I'm enjoying, really. So
that's good.
Yeah, did they get to come to watch?
Yeah, my mum flew out on the last couple of weeks, and she kind of knew because she was coming for the quarterfinal, semi-final, final stage, and realistically, before I went, I was like, if I'm going to play any games, it's going to be during the pool games, because they want to put their strongest team out every single week, etc. And I didn't feel like I was in that team. So mum thought she was coming just to, like, you know, watch the team, enjoy the atmosphere. But for her to come out, she was able to watch me play twice in the semi-final and the final. Yeah. For me to sit there and see my mum watching me in the crowd, I was like, yeah, this is
big.
Yeah,
that's
big.
Good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Sometimes I wish I played a sport. Sometimes when I hear you, I'm like, oh, I wish I was an athlete. I wish I played a sport, but I don't think I've got the energy. I'll just stick to the gym. I'll just stick to the gym. So, are you the youngest in your team, or is there someone younger than you?
Yeah, there's one girl younger than me. Yeah, we're both 20, but just.
Oh, okay.
It's a couple months probably.
Yeah, and who's the oldest? The 36-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite a gap.
Yeah. So.
No, that's so sick. Like, that's actually proper sick. And also, even just having you on here is amazing. I remember I saw, I think, before I reached out to you, I'm just like on the page and I see that you like to post. And I was like, wait a minute. And I go on your page and I see your follow and I was like, no way. And I was like, no, I definitely have to get you on sort of podcast. So how did you even like discover the brand, or like, I don't know how long you've been following for.
How long I've been following for, but I think I saw the brand on TikTok or on Instagram. I just felt like I was like, I really like this gym brand. Like, it's really good. I remember thinking like ages ago, I was like, because I just got a new agent and I was thinking, I might get into message them and see if I can do it. See if I can do a collab or whatever. So when I got a message, I was like, this is crazy.
Sick.
But yeah, we've been following for a while.
Oh, that's it. No, that makes me really happy. When I saw it, I was like, there's absolutely no way you're following. I was like, this is crazy. And I just really had to reach out. But no, it's so great just seeing like your story, what you're doing, playing sports, and just being so young as well. But I know people play sports young, but I think just being able to see it in kind of close proximity is just like mind-blowing. And like you even just coming from that game, international and stuff, like it's just so, it's amazing. It's sick.
Thank you.
It's sick. Like, yeah, I wish you all the best and all of that stuff. Like, so what's the next for you? So I know you're at uni right now.
Yeah.
What's like the next, I guess, 6 months? What does that look like for you?
So we've got 2 weeks off from rugby, and then we're in straight into the Premiership. So playing every Saturday for the rest of the season, and then in March we're back into England camps. Touch wood, they call me back in. For Six Nations. So yeah, we've got about three months off from international rugby, but yeah, back at uni, back into the uni life, back playing in the Prem, and then yeah, back into camp soon, hopefully.
Yeah, well done. Hopefully we see you again.
I definitely want to see more of what you're doing. That's amazing. But yeah, that's great. You've got anything for us? Anything you want to ask us? Maybe?
No, but I'll have to get you guys tickets to come
Oh, yeah,
and watch.
I would love to. I don't think I've ever been to watch any
Yeah.
sports.
No, I've been to watch bare sports, but
Is
rugby,
it?
rugby would be interesting.
Have you watched?
I've seen athletics, I saw Mo Farah, I saw Usain,
Really?
done boxing, football, the whole
I
shebang.
haven't been to anything.
I'm
like,
outside, man. You're just here, chilling.
nothing. No, this is so bad. No, yeah, definitely, tickets, please.
Yeah, we have
Load us
games
up.
in London coming up, so
And be walking around with a Sadia banner like that.
Yeah.
no, yeah. Definitely.
No, that's sick. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Again, wish you the best. Like, definitely want to see more of you, and it's been great having you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys. You've been listening to the DAMIHOW podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.